All right. Hello, everybody. So we're in the van, and I'm going to go ahead and make the announcement that the van build is complete for the purposes of this series on YouTube. I do technically have a few very minor things I want to finish up, but the bulk of everything is done, and yeah, I think we'll go ahead and call it complete. So I took the van on its first little overnight trip. It was a very small, just like I said, just a simple overnight trip. I drove down to Quartzsite, which is about three and a half hours from where I'm at. And long story short, the van, both the mechanicals of the van and how the coach performed really well. I was really impressed. If any of you guys were following the channel, you guys probably knew that as I got closer, I did have some repairs I know I had to make on the van, and that kind of spiraled into a big mess. And then I started driving the van pretty much as my daily driver just to kind of work out any kinks. And I don't think I went into it, and it's kind of a long story, and I don't feel like getting into it. But I had a couple other small minor problems come up. I got them all resolved. So as of right now, this van is running tip-top. But it was a little frustrating because I had a bunch of just unrelated, weird. Fortunately, they were all little small problems just kind of come up at once. But I guess looking back now, I'm kind of glad they all happened at once and I could just kind of knock them out. But I went on the 3.5 hour trip, 3.5 hours there and back. I think it's a little over 200 miles. I don't remember exactly. But the van performed really well. Like I said, it was just an overnight, so there was no elaborate test of the coach portion, but it did really well though. I mean, one thing I've noticed with a lot of the truck campers I've made is, as you start to use them, which I think is normal, there's little modifications that you make, but and maybe something that seemed like a great idea in the initial build, maybe didn't work out quite like you expected. But the van, at least in the preliminary trip I did, everything went really well. The bathroom, which is had some minor controversy, or at least as by and large, it seems to be a controversial thing in the van build world. I got to be honest with you, I really liked it. I know I didn't shower in it or anything, but it was super handy just having a flush toilet right on board. There's a time or two on the drive there or back where I had to go pee, and it was so convenient just to pull over on the side of the road and jump in there, and as opposed to having to, wait till you got to a store and then trying to find the bathroom and all of that. So I think for me, in this van, I'm really glad that I added the bathroom. Gas mileage. A lot of people, well, I don't say a lot, but I've had a few people ask what the gas mileage is or what they think it is. And I didn't really know. I mean, I knew it wouldn't be great, but I was able to accurately measure, via driving and then topping off the tank. And I had to do some calculations because there is a wheel size error, but from the best of my calculations, the van got about 12.5 miles per gallon. I guess looking back, that's probably about, like I said, I didn't really offer any predictions, but I guess thinking about it, 12.5 miles per gallon is about what I expected. Of course, we all hope for a little bit more, but I mean, it's a 4-wheel drive van. It's 29 years old, so it's a pretty old van. It's got a lift. For the best I could gather, it's a 4-inch lift. It's got a high top, and it's a big van. It's the extended length one, and it's got a coach build out in it. So with all those things being said, 12.5 miles per gallon is probably about right. You also have to couple the fact that, here in the West, pretty much no matter what time of day you go or what direction you drive, I feel like you're always hitting some wind, and there's always some hill that you're going up or down on. So, that might be, I know on the way there, I don't think it was like 30 or 40 miles an hour, but I was hitting a pretty notable headwind for at least a portion of the drive. So all things considered, I think that's fine. I did jump. It's a little hard for me to find an apples to apples comparison in gas mileage and what kind of you would expect, but I did jump on. I did find a Sportsmobile forum and the posts were a little bit aged. I'm not an expert on it, but Sportsmobile seemed to have been a pretty popular company that made some Class B, and they always used either an E250 or 350 chassis from what I've seen. And they kind of focused on kind of the adventure van market. Many of those were four-wheel drive, not all, but many of them were. But anyways, long story short, when I went through that forum and I was, looking at what people were talking about their gas mileage, it kind of ranged from somewhere, between 9 and 14 miles per gallon. So I think for me, getting 12.5 with a lift, four-wheel drive, an older engine, which, maybe arguably is a little less efficient, that's probably about what you'd expect. So I think that's probably right on margin. But yeah, I mean, that's about it, guys. I have to be honest with you that I don't, it's probably doesn't capture in the videos, but I, particularly in the last portion of this build, I was putting a significant amount of energy into it. And just to be honest with you, I'm pretty worn out. So I'm actually, I enjoyed the build. I really love the van. I think it turned out well. And as it stands now, everything is running perfectly and everything's going well. But I am going to take a break a little bit. I do have a new project on the horizon. I don't have a timeline for when I'll start that. But in the meantime, I've got a couple products that I got to put out some reviews for, but I'm probably going to kind of slow down on YouTube just a little bit. Nothing's wrong. I just kind of need to recuperate. I got some stuff at the house I got to knock out. And like I said, particularly the last, maybe month and a half, 2 months, I've been, 110% on getting this van done. And it just, at least for me, it just kind of wore me out a little bit. But everything's going well. I hope you guys are all doing well out there. And I will do a full tour video of the van. My goal is to get it out within about a month. And then we'll go from there. So no lives. The lives were just something I was doing through the course of the van build. So I will suspend those effectively today. Maybe at a later time with the new project, I'll fire them back up. But I just don't really have much to talk about at this point in time. But guys, I appreciate you watching. I'll just finish this up. I did get the headliner in, which I think is a pretty cool. Let me show you guys that here. I put in the headliner in the van. And long story short, as you guys could see, I used the cedar planks. And, so there just kind of covers the whole top there. And then I put in this flexible track. And then, of course, I've got blackout curtains here. And the way I made this is a track, obviously, you guys can see extends to there. And the idea being is that this chair here, sorry about that, well, just bear with me, I think you guys get the point, is I wanted to be able to wrap the curtains around the chair. That way, if you're in the van chilling, but you still want to have kind of that stealth mode, you have that ability. As opposed to, a very natural thing would have been just have those curtains go straight across, but then again, it would have cut out that chair. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching.